All right, ladies. So this morning, I wanted to bring up the number one. And this is this can be so many different angles. I meant to actually bring my little cheat sheet book on the angel numbers and all of that. But one is very much in alignment. And sometimes we think we need to start with the number one. And so my first point that I want to bring to you is that you don't have to burn everything down. To start at the number one, it just means you're counting. It just means you've got five fingers on your hand, right? Like whatever it is that comes first is one. So you don't have to burn it all down to start. Okay, I just want to, yeah, you don't have to start at ground zero to get to the number one. So that's the first thing I want to leave you with. Second is a lesson that I learned when I was selling sewing machines. And I got really good at fixing sewing machines over the phone. Someone would call and they would say, "My machine is blah, 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 blah." Well, we start with where we're at, right? We don't burn it all down. We start with where we're at so that when we find the thing that fixes it, we know what the actual fix was. Problem, solution, fix. It wasn't burn it all down and start from zero and then call me again in 3 weeks because your machine is doing the same thing. Right? That doesn't help. That having to keep coming back to the answer, right? The person answering the phone or the book or the whatever, you need to learn what it is that the whole thing, the problem, the solution, and the fix, right? So when we need to fix something, changing one thing at a time allows us to do a process of elimination so that next time that problem exists, we know what the fix is, or we and maybe take fewer steps or change fewer things to get to that fix, but we change one thing at a time. So I'm just thinking about like an email sequence, right? Well, if it's not converting to your sales or a text message or a script or a series or something, if it's not doing what you want it to do, we don't have to burn it all down and start from ground zero. We can maybe back up, right? Oh, it's step number 3 that needs this little tweak, right? It's not the whole thing. And when I was fixing sewing machines over the phone, it was always an opportunity for a lesson for the person on the other line. And so when you are raising your hand and saying, "Hey, I have this problem," be open for the lesson, the solution, and the fix, the cog that needs to be turned, right? Maybe picking up a different peg for that hole. And so when you reach out, when you raise your hand, be open for that lesson. Because that lesson is what shortens your learning curve moving forward, and you can share it with other people and shorten their learning curves. So one thing, I'm kind of, I don't know, stuck on this lesson of fixing sewing machines over the phone. That was something that I felt that in the heat of COVID, sorry if that triggers anything, but in the heat of that, a lot of people wanted to either spend some time and learn how to sew, dig out an old machine, or they were making masks or what have you. Okay. And I just kind of put it out there. Hey, I probably can fix your issue if you're new to this or coming back into this. I'm sure the other places, sewing machine stores and stuff, are getting plenty of phone calls. I could field a couple of those phone calls and contribute in that way. But it's that lesson, it's that shortening of the learning curve. Those people, if you teach them something, they don't call back, right? Like they know, oh, I can change this. And then if that doesn't work, I change this. And that can be the same in your life, in your business, in your calendar, in your conversations. I've got a note here. Someone had a coach say, asking for help is a superpower. It's a big deal. It's when you raise your hand, it allows other people to shorten your learning curve and pass along cool information, whether it's a book recommendation, um, a behind the scenes view of how you do it so they can do it better for themselves, right? Ask for help, raise your hand, make the call. And then it allows you to be the same for other people because you are the fix. Finally, I wanted to share this last point, and that is do the next right thing. One thing. Not all the things, not all the things you thought you should do or that you feel behind on. Do the next thing. So I get this a lot when, especially maybe even this time of year where people are coming off the holidays and they're picking their business back up and they're like, I haven't done this follow-up from October, or what about this thing over here, or I never just mailed that gift. Whatever it is, do the next right thing that's on your heart, just one thing at a time. And as you check those things off, you feel more accomplished. You feel more ready for the next thing. And pretty soon you'll be doing 2 things. And then you'll check 3 things off for the day. And then 4 things, and then 5, and then 6, and then you can cap yourself at 6. That's okay. 6 is a big number when it comes to doing big things. When you do that next right thing, you have the opportunity to open up presence within yourself and your surroundings and your calendar and all those other moving parts and pieces because you checked something off that list. And to go back to this idea of feeling behind, that doesn't serve anybody. That's a useless guilt, if we can call it that. And when we, instead of feeling behind, we take one action, whatever that is. I'll even tell a client to just take that low-hanging fruit, take those wins, because they are just as worthy as the big things. So what is that next right thing for you, right? Like, check it off that list. So with that, think about what is that one thing for you. Maybe I'll go on this one more tangent. When I ask that thing, what is that one thing? What is that one thing? It's the thing that makes you tick. The thing that brings you the most joy, the most passion, the most excitement. What's that one big belief you have? One big mission? If you could distill it down to one thing, what's that one thing? And from there, I just get this vision of a pyramid, like that one thing. And then from there, it can get bigger and bigger. But you have to kind of start from the top and work your way down, instead of, if you working your way down is starting from the thought of being behind, right? You don't want to start at the bottom. You don't want to start at ground zero. You don't need to burn it all down. What is that one thing? All right, we're going to go into our live discussion. It's going to be good.